Open up your M2T, and this is going to be final exam review number 2. First question, you are given a table and we are to write the ordered pairs. So we're going to go ahead and write a bracket to include our ordered pairs, put our parentheses in. Our first ordered pair is going to be 2, 3. The X comes first and then the Y. 6, 8. X comes first and then the Y. 0, 1. X comes first and then the Y. Find the scale factor. Remember when you're finding the scale factor that your labels must match. So we're going to put 4 feet into 6 yards. And we have to decide which one we're going to change. Are we going to change 4 feet to yards, or are we going to change 6 yards to feet? Well, we know that there are 3 feet in a yard, so we know that we don't have enough to make 2 yards if we change 4 feet. So that means we're going to have to multiply 6 yards times 3 to change it into feet. That gives us 4 feet over 18 feet. Now our labels match. So now all we have to do is simplify, and that's going to be 2 ninths. The next one we're going to use, and we're going to do 5 inches over 2 feet. Again, we have to try to make our labels match. Well, we know we need 12 inches to change into 1 foot. We only have 5, so that means we're going to need to change the 2 feet. So we're going to multiply the 2 feet by 12 to change it to inches. This is going to be 5 over 24. And notice, they're both inches, and when we simplify, it still stays 5 over 24. All right, now we're going to graph. On our graph, we're going to include 3 numbers. We're going to include our 0, we're going to include our 3, and we're going to include a -1. Because of this sign here, we know that the circle is going to be filled in, and 2 is less than 3, so our arrow is going to the left. Again, we're going to draw our number line. We're going to put a 0 on, we're going to put a -4 on, and now we're going to put a +1, so we have a number on both sides of 0. There is no equal or equal to sign, and so we're going to have an open circle, and the number that is greater than -4 could be 6, so that would be all of the numbers to the right. Now we're going to solve and graph. So the first thing we're going to ask ourselves is, what math operation is x over 2? And that's division. What's the opposite of division? That's multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. This cancels out the 2, leaving x is greater than or equal to -8. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw our number line, put our 0 in, put our -8 in, put our +1 in. It is greater than or equal to, so we know that this is going to be a solid circle, and numbers that are greater than -8 are to the right. All right, so now we're going to do x divided by -3. So we ask ourselves, what math operation is this? And we know that it's division. What's the opposite of division? It's multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by -3. Now you're going to notice that our minus men appear, and that's going to tell us that our inequality sign is going to flip. So the 3's cancel out, leaving us with x, and the -3 times 6, -3 times 2 is -6. But because of the minus men, our inequality is going to flip. When we go to graph it, we're going to go ahead and put a 0 on, -6, and a 1. And what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and graph it. There is no or equals to, so it's going to be an open circle, and the numbers that are greater than -6 are also going to be to the right. How high is the kite? Well, here is the kite, and we know that the string is 13 feet, and we know that Kenda is standing 5 feet away from the kite. The kite is straight up in the air. That gives us a right triangle, and we need to find out how high up in the air the kite is. So with the right triangle, we're going to be able to use Pythagorean's theorem. So we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A is going to be 5 squared plus b squared is equal to 13 squared. So 25 plus b is equal to 169. Now, we need to get b first, so it's going to be b plus 25 is equal to 169. Subtract the 25, or 0 pair out, and we have b is equal to, and this should be b squared, sorry about that. B squared is equal to 144. We're going to square root both sides, and that's going to give us b is 12 feet. So the kite is 12 feet in the air. Find b. If a and b are complementary, that means that angle A plus angle B is equal to 90 degrees. Remember we said you could take that P, flip it around backwards, and that would give you the 9 in 90. So we're going to have 52 degrees plus angle B is equal to 90. So angle B plus 52 degrees is equal to 90. 0 pair out the 52. So you're going to have the measure of angle B is going to be 38 degrees. Now in this case we're finding the measure of A, and A and B are supplementary. So that means the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B are going to equal 180. And again, remember we said you could look at the two P's, and that's 90 plus 90 to help you remember that that's going to equal 180. So we're going to do the measure of angle A plus 70 degrees is equal to 180. 0 pair out the 70. So the measure of angle A is going to be 110 degrees. Make sure you put your degree signs in. Find x. Now, we know that a quadrilateral is equal to 360 degrees. And the way that we know that is that we can divide that quadrilateral into two triangles, and 2 times 180 is 360 degrees. So all we need to do is add up our angles and subtract it from 360. So 360 minus 60 plus 100 plus 40. So 360 minus 200 is going to equal 160 degrees. And that's how many degrees x is. Matching. All right, so remember that multiplicative identity means that we're going to be multiplying by 1 to get the same number that we started with. So multiplicative identity is going to go with number 2. Transitive means that we have 3 different problems and they all equal each other. So 2 plus 4 is equal to 6. 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So 2 plus 4 equals 2 times 3. So transitive is going to be number 4. APM, associative property of multiplication, means that we're going to be changing and moving around our parenthesis signs. So if we look at number 1, notice that the parentheses was multiplying the 3 and the x first, and now the parentheses is multiplying the 7 and the 3. So associative property of multiplication is going to be C. And CPM, which is commutative property of multiplication, means we're simply just moving the numbers around a multiplication dot. And that's going to be number 3. All right, now we're going to evaluate, which means we're going to plug in our values and then we're going to follow PEMDAS. So we're going to go ahead and put in 3 times 2 minus 4 plus 3. And we're going to follow PEMDAS, so it's going to be 3 times 2 minus 7. So it's going to be 6 minus 7. Add a line, change the sign. So it's going to be negative 1. All right, the next one we're going to plug in, then we're going to do 2 times 2 minus 4 minus 3. 2 times 2 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is going to be 3. The quotient of a number. Quotient means a fraction because we're doing division. A number is x. Less is going to be subtraction. 3, and then is equals, and then 12. So we're looking at the quotient of a number, x is going to be on the top, of a number and 2. So we're going to put 2 on the bottom, less 3 is 12. So we're going to go ahead and add a line, change the sign. Is the variable on the left? Yes, it is. Is it by itself? No. So we're going to 0 pair the 3. So we're going to have x divided by 2 is equal to 15. Is the variable on the left? Yes. Is it by itself? No. What math operation is it? It's division. What's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by, whoops, not 3. We're going to multiply both sides by 2. So x is going to equal 30. And that's the end of FER.